Hey y'all, it's July the 8th, 2017, and I actually just came across the story that you might have seen. It very well should be national news, and I'll explain why in a moment. I just came across a story about an officer, a Mr. Miguel Moreno from out of San Antonio, Texas, who was killed in the line of duty a day or two ago. I just came across that article, and the reason I want to suggest that it should be a national story is because this officer, this particular officer, Miguel Moreno, as you see right there, the typical white supremacist officer out to harass everybody and to harass poor people and black people. The typical white supremacist, Miguel Moreno, was gunned down in the line of duty, right, a day or two ago. And the reason I say it should be national news probably is because people from all over the nation and from Canada, from what I understand, all over are coming to pay tribute or have came to Miguel Moreno's funeral to pay tribute to him. And that would lend you to believe that it should be a national news story. People from all over the nation respected Miguel Moreno for some reason. I don't know the details of Miguel Moreno's career or anything, but it seems as though very highly respected across the country. Should be national news. I don't know if it is or it isn't. I don't really watch television like that. But this took place, if you didn't know, in San Antonio, Texas. And if you didn't know, that's where I come from. Alright, that's where I grew up, was born and raised. There's my stomping ground, San Antonio. And just momentarily, I want to mention that San Antonio is so chocked to the brim full of cultural history. It's absolutely, its origins were amazing and stuff. Many rock legends love coming to San Antonio. San Antonio probably has been mentioned as much or more than any other town in country music to begin with. All right, San Antonio has a lot of cultural history beyond music. If you're talking about the Alamo and all sort of other stuff, all right. Reason I left San Antonio, to be honest with you, just real quickly, is it's getting too big for its britches. Not only is it becoming very, very big and populated, but its culture, its history is getting very much watered down, and it's not something I enjoy seeing, and so I left. That's part of the reason why I left. But anyways, took place in San Antonio. All right, should be national news. Miguel Moreno. All right. What I want to explain is, you know, like we said, there's certain groups out there, not to just say Black Lives Matter, but all certain other groups who are saying, you know, that police are terrible people, lots of them are racist, or even if they don't know they're racist, and they're all, generally speaking, they're white supremacists. And if they're not white supremacists, they hold up the system of white supremacy, especially Miguel Moreno. A lot of people are saying that and stuff like that, but what they don't understand, and what they'll never understand, they'll choose not to, is that police are starting to get the idea that people are gonna kill them, right? Because this has been happening more frequently than we can recall. We're hearing about it a lot now, right? So if you were to put yourself in the shoes of a police officer, you could probably imagine that you might go ahead and lose your life today, and it might not even be over something serious, by the way. It might be completely random to you, right? You would have to imagine a lot of police are thinking about that, right? Understand that this has to be on the mind of police now. You've heard of this, all right? So for all the groups out there who will never listen, what they're missing is that police have a right now to be a little bit paranoid over your movements. And before I go any further, you have to understand it's been coming more to light. In fact, I heard a person explain to me the other day something I want to explain to you right now. All right. as a person now in 2017, with what's been going on, as a person, if you disobey the orders of a police officer, that means you are armed. That means that you are armed and deadly at that point. And a lot of people, this is where I'm lose a lot of people. A lot of people be like, well, what do you mean? What do you mean that means I'm armed because I'm disobeying the police? Well, if you're disobeying the police, that means that you really are not giving credit to their authority in that particular situation. All right, meaning that you'll do whatever you want to, it seems, when you're disobeying the police. And so with that in mind, it would make sense that, seeing as you're not doing anything that what they're trying to tell you, that you might just very well run at them and take their gun from them, all right? Because you're disobeying orders to begin with. You understand? And that's what creates a very risky situation. Know that if you are confrontationally, and it does not matter what your skin color is, by the way, if you're confrontationally disobeying the police, you certainly are putting yourself at risk because you are an armed person now, right? And there's so many people like Black Lives Matter. They're never going to admit that. They ain't never going to admit that. It doesn't even apply to anybody's skin color, all right? So I want to describe to you that this is how I took a look into it. It's kind of hard. I had to dig into it. Here's how Miguel Moreno was killed in the line of duty just the other day. Him and his partner happened upon a car, right? I guess it was parked and stuff, and there was two guys outside of the car. The car looked like it could have been stolen. It really kind of looked suspicious that way. Miguel Moreno and his partner approached two men, and I guess we're probably going to ask him about it. A lot of people probably say, "Oh man, they must have been harassing those men, but they probably didn't do nothing. They probably were, servicing their community." And these officers rolled up to harass them. Check that out. That's not actually what happened, and it's crazy. It's crazy that you would think something like that. The officers rolled up on these two individuals because the car looks stolen, looks mad suspicious. Before they could ask questions, shots rang out. All right, a man by the name of Andrew Bryce or Bice, I forget what it is. Andrew, he went ahead and said, "No questions. I'm gonna just start shooting." You understand how it's becoming very hard for people to differentiate what kind of orders you're going to disobey. So this Andrew character, he shot the police. Maybe his partner with him also tried to shoot the police. I'm not sure. All right. And obviously wound up killing Miguel Moreno. At which point, it seems as though the partner of Miguel Moreno shot back at Andrew as he was running away, shot him right in the ass where he deserves to be shot. All right. And then Mr. Andrew goes ahead, and what he does is he just commits suicide, dude. He says, "Forget it. I'm done with this." And he takes his own life. I believe Andrew's partner then, I think he ran away, but he was later caught. All right. So, obviously that's extremely cowardly. It has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. Nobody's black here in this situation. Obviously this is very cowardly of Andrew to do, but you take a little bit digging into Andrew's background, you understand he has priors. All right, he's been in jail. All right, chances are he's one of these guys out here who's talking about, "Oh, I'm never going back. I can't never go back. They want to cage me up like an animal, and I ain't never going back." And you bet your bottom dollar that was Andrew's mantra. Meanwhile, even if it was, wouldn't that mean you'd probably stop committing crimes? At that point, if it's in your mind and your mentality that you're never going back, to the point where you shoot yourself just so that you don't go back, if that is the case, then why don't you just stop committing crimes, though? That's a question you're not going to want to answer. Anyways, this fool's dead. A lot of fools think like that out there, though. "I ain't never going back. I ain't never going back." Well, stop committing crimes then, you savage barbarian, all right? But of course, you're not going to appeal to these people. They love lies. They live for lies. They eat them and drink them. They breathe it in like air, the lies, all right? So there's people like Andrew all over the place, and police have to be concerned. as to whether or not people like Andrew are going to pop up and shoot them to death in a split second. You understand that that's how long it takes to have a tragedy unfold, a split second. All right, so every American citizen, I don't care who you are, you really ought to obey the police. Obviously, even if your principles are against it, you should probably start doing it, because it'll become very deadly, and for good reason. All right, a savage barbarian holds court in the streets, you guys, and that's how it's always been. A savage barbarian will hold court in the streets. You hold court in court where it belongs. If you have to get arrested, well then so be it. I don't care what color you are. If you're innocent, you'll be able to get yourself out of jail, dude. Right, but if you're off committing crimes and making excuses for it and blaming white supremacy for it and blaming just everybody but yourself, you're out there committing crimes like a savage barbarian, you know what I'm saying? You're just going to go ahead and live that lifestyle and stuff. And you're going to want to take people's lives, innocent people's lives. This innocent officer right here who is respected all across the nation. You're going to take his life, and then you're going to take your own measly life, right? Because your life doesn't matter. I promise you it doesn't. In fact, you know, it's almost kind of relieving that Andrew took his own life so that none of my tax dollars would go to pay for the housing of Andrew, because I don't want to pay for the housing of this guy at all. So I'd rather he be under the ground. And so thank you to Andrew for doing that to yourself. That is one thing that was respectable about Andrew, but also what we got to mention right now is Andrew is absolutely on some drugs, probably SSRIs or pharmaceuticals, just like y'all all know, right? Because it is kind of hard to kill yourself, to be honest with you. You need some sort of drugs to kind of completely numb you and stuff, and you're going to find out that Andrew is certainly on drugs, if not pharmaceuticals, and then street drugs and stuff like that. He's absolutely a fiend and a savage barbarian. All right, so anyways, to wrap it up, right, this whole situation is ridiculous. Innocent lives are being lost and stuff, and if people are going to continue to grasp on to lies with white knuckles breathlessly, if they're going to do that, they're going to create a terrible situation for everybody else around them. All the innocent people, all the righteous people will also have to live in this terrible nightmare situation. It's completely un-American. It's completely savage barbarian. I don't think we should be tolerating it no more. Anyways, it's the tribulation, y'all. We're balls deep in it. It's July the 8th, 2017, and I'll holler at y'all shortly.